Hey guys, it's another sad day. I come on live. We lost a great one, George PEREZ. Today, 67 years old. His battle with cancer is now over. My hero passed away on May 6th. If you know me in the comic book community, if you know me really good, you know how important George PEREZ is. Puerto Rican, South Bronx, New York, baby. You know how important George PEREZ meant and means in my life forever and always. And he's my favorite. He's my Mount Rushmore. Last week we dealt with Neil Adams passing, and now I lose another Mount Rushmore meaningful artist in this community, in our comic book family, George PEREZ. We lose an icon, a legend, an icon, a true hero who battled cancer. In my eyes, that man is a hero, a warrior, a legend, a fighter, a survivor. I'm going to miss his smile. I'm going to miss how cool he is. I'm going to miss his advice. I'm going to miss his art. I'm going to miss his creative genius. Shout out to George PEREZ, man. Avengers, Crisis on Infinite Earths, New Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, Infinity Gauntlet. Sky's the limit, man. You know George PEREZ's geniuses. Amazing artistic artwork. The complex art, what I call it, the complex scenes. Multiple award winner. Oh boy. This one's crazy. This one's crazy, man. Astonishing Tales number 25, man, Deathlock. Then he hits you with the deadly hands of Kung Fu. Then he created the White Tiger, Puerto Rican superhero. Spider-Man ran through those Avengers in the 70s. The Fantastic Four, the Inhumans. Man. I want to see Man-Wolf on the screen. Marvel, man, I know you're listening to me. Let's get Man-Wolf on the screen. Let's get the White Tiger on the screen. I know we already did so much. We brought so much of George PEREZ art to life so far. Let's keep going. Man, him and Wolfman, god damn. Him and Wolfman. Holy crap. Created Taskmaster. Marvel messed that one up. But, created Taskmaster. New Teen Titans. Legendary New Teen Titans. What? Justice League of America. X-Men. Damn. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Holy crap. Wonder Woman. Yo, George PEREZ, Wonder Woman in the 80s. What? Holy crap, man. Damn. This one hurts. This one hurts. This is one of my favorite. One of my favorite of all time. Just iconic to me. Superman, Adventures of Superman. Yo, I love my War of the Gods set. I love that set. Infinity Gauntlet. I cherish my Infinity Gauntlets. I cherish them. Damn. Yo, speaking of which, also, remember that Future Imperfect? Maestro? Oh, man. This is tough, guys. This is tough. Yo, I even got my Topps comic, the Jurassic Park. I'm just going through my short boxes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, Justice League versus the Avengers. DC versus Marvel. George Perez, guys. George Perez. Brave and the Bold. Damn. I'm just going through all this. This is crazy. Yo, I even got this from Boom Studios. Sirens. What do you guys know about Sirens? George Perez. Shout out. Yo, Jaime Reyes. Blue Beetle's coming. The movie's coming. George Perez. This one hurts. This one hurts. Cancer sucks. That's why in my eyes, he's a real superhero. He's a real superhero. This man made me fall in love with comics on a whole other level. I was collecting his books. Real talk, I was collecting his books. I used to also I remember in the 80s, I'm like 5, 6, 7 years old. In the 80s, he was doing his runs, Wonder Woman and stuff, and I used to tell my dad. My dad wouldn't buy me Wonder Woman comics. This is a fact. I'm being serious right now, guys. I'm being serious right now. My dad was a tough dude. Really, really fucking tough. And he wouldn't buy me Wonder Woman comics. He's like, "What do you want Wonder Woman comics for?" He would always. It's one thing about him. He'd always on Friday, he'd bring me like a bag of comics, and Topps baseball cards in a little brown little bag, and he'd give me my allowance, and he would buy it from the newsstands when he would do his routes and stuff like that and work, and you know how it is, and I'd sit down and I'd show my dad the art. He was a tough guy. He was, you know how it is. And he really wasn't into it, but I know that he would listen to me because he's seen how much I loved it. And at the time, I remember trading with my friends in school because my dad would never buy me Wonder Woman comic books. So I would trade for Wonder Woman comics just because I remember his art. My eye always loved art. That's one thing about me. I always love artwork, detail. I always have an attention to detail. And I would come home and then I would show my dad and he'd be like, "Well, what is this?" And I'm like, I like this artist, Dad. I like this artist. And I showed him because I knew the artist was George Perez because that's how he signed, George Perez. He signed his full name. It was very legible. So ever since that, then I would be taken and I used to get into it. A little kid, I used to get into it. Garage sales. My school used to have like a flea market. Every year they would have a flea market. And my 8th grade teacher, her son-in-law at the time was a big comic book dealer. Really, really popular guy. And he would bring long boxes and long boxes to our auditorium in grammar school. And I would save up real talk, I would save up my allowance. I'd save it up. And that was like my comic book WrestleMania was my grammar school flea market. And I would just go through all the boxes looking for George. Fuck. I can't. I'm trying to keep it professional, guys. I can't because I love this man. And I look for this man's signature. And then I got into the older stuff and I found out about Fantastic Four and Avengers. And then also too he was doing Superman, Marv Wolfman, and then came the Infinity Gauntlet. And then I was picking up the Infinity Gauntlet, and I loved that. Me and my friends loved that. That was at the time, that was our favorite. And you could say, which is a fact, George Perez art, and my love at the time for Spider-Man comic books, Batman, and X-Men is what truly made me fall in love with comic books. Truly. And I'll say it again. My Mount Rushmore. I mean, 100%. George Perez, Neil Adams, Jim Steranko, and Todd McFarlane. That's my personal Mount Rushmore. That's my personal Mount Rushmore. And because then in the 90s with Todd McFarlane, it was just wow. And Jim Steranko I fell in love with because then I was the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., the art, the psychedelic art. Again, I just love that type of those scenes. I like that the complex nature in art. I don't like simplicity. I love detail. So guys like George Perez and then Jim Steranko would hit you with that psychedelic. That was just beautiful. But George Perez made me fall in love with comic book art. That's a fact. And then, Neil Adams with the iconic, with Batman and the Ra's al Ghul and the Superman. I mean, obviously, that's just a no-brainer right there. And then all my old X-Men's, Neil Adams. But George Perez. And then as I got older, I got to meet George Perez because now I'm touring and I'm going to all the comic shows and I'm touring and I'm doing the meet and greets and I'm just developing and honing my craft, collecting signatures, chasing down stuff that I need, working on my PC, developing the store at the time and the warehouse, and then just developing the nature of it and locking down the cool stuff, because I didn't want to just I never wanted to be the guy who just sells anything and whatever. I wanted to sell the cool stuff. I wanted comics is special to me. I was and I'm gonna get personal. I was the kid. This is truth. My parents would always fight, always argue. It drove me crazy as a kid. And I would hide. We had a walk-in closet. So I would take my comic books and I would hide in the closet while they yelled and screamed and I would just read my comics and I would shake. I'd be so nervous. And I know I'm getting very personal. A lot of people don't know that, but I got no fear in me. You guys know that about. I have no fear in me, and I used to hide in the closet. There used to be like a light, like a light switch, and it is a big walk-in closet. And I used to hide underneath the clothes, and I would read my comic books, dead ass serious, and we're talking like I'm 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and it would be. This is just what made me fall in love with comic books, and that's a fact. And then personally in my life, you guys know I loved fighting, and then that came to an end, and it was George Perez. And also to a fact, Neil Adams did give me advice as well, but it was George Perez who made me pursue my love for comics as a business. And that's a fact. That is a fact. And then something happened later on in my life, and it was, again, George Perez who told me at one of his earlier shows before he obviously got really, really sick and then couldn't do these shows anymore. And we were talking about cancer and stuff. And I was going through a lot of things, and somebody who I love very much on this world was going through cancer and stuff. And that's why I would look at them as real heroes to me in my eyes. I would look at them as real heroes, because they're battling this evil villain called cancer who can kill them, and ultimately did. And just losing George Perez today, I mean, we knew that this was going to happen. There was no beating this. And I lost a few people to cancer, and I also seen people beat it and fight through it. But today really hurts, because this man means the world to me, and he's such a nice guy, beautiful man, beautiful, passionate, loved the people, literally loved the fans, the people, just genuine, 100%, just a genuine man, a brilliant genius, a brilliant creative genius. And this one hurts. This one really, really hurts. But I owe a lot to George Perez and the advice through the years, seeing him at the shows, behind the scenes, the variants, the cover art. It just goes without saying that he, in my eyes, is one of the best that ever did it. And just back-to-back losses is just tough. It's really tough, and I know it hurt him too, not to be able to do the CGC signing. I know that for a fact. I had a feeling that was never gonna go down. I knew that. I knew that was never gonna go down. But when it finally did, I mean, it's in the final times. I honestly, I did try to reach out in the final times to do one more interview just for the people, but it couldn't happen. Just obviously health reasons. It couldn't happen. It wasn't going to be done right. So truly, George Perez becomes immortal. Is immortal. He lives through his art, his legacy, the movies that we watch on the screen, the characters that he drew, the characters that are now coming to life. My generation, the new generation, the generation to come in the future, they will search him. They will see the videos. They will hear the archives. Whatever new technology they develop by then, I am confident George Perez will always be a part of it. Rest in peace, my dear, dear, beautiful friend George Perez. I love you. NICKGQ out.